So after all these times since the 2016 election, they have been targeting Julian and trying to do whatever to him. Hillary's idea was to drone him, and other people have been trying to have him removed so that he can't speak and tell the truth about the deep state. They silenced him for a year. And they've called him a criminal. They've lied about him. They've put out a fake news narrative of all these things that have never been true. And this is exactly what the deep state does. They make up the same lie about anybody that they want to target. And what happened is he has asylum. He's been living in the Ecuador embassy, but the UK is under Sharia law and a very, very bad leader at this time. And then Ecuador has been betraying their own asylum protection rules, and they're doing some kind of a deal where they've, quote, tried to sell Julian to the highest bidder in order to exchange him in a sick deal and take him so that he can't publish anymore and punish him for what he already posted. And this would be the United States deep state, all the cabal, the bankers, the sick leaders, anybody with pedophilia, anybody that's into the dirty money and the dark government in whatever country they're in. And if by now people haven't figured out how connected our disgusting governments are together, they don't know anything about the deep state. Now, just to switch off of this for a second, because I'm live here watching on this video so that you can see what's happening at the embassy. This is at Ruptly, and he started streaming 2 hours ago. You can see people with tents here planning to sleep here, and they have stuffed animals, and they're trying to make a point of being out in front of the embassy because they've been saying they're going to expel Julian and remove him. Now, just to show you how sick, and what's happening too is since the Mueller report happened and the FISA abuses, which contain very unflattering things about the predators and the players in the deep state and testimony they gave and things they said, because everybody is against using the United States government for the United States people, because under Hillary and under Obama, all these other countries used our government, but everybody worked for themselves and pretended they were trying to help the United States, but they were all party to the deep state. And we are watching them fill our government back up with dirty players and disgusting people, and there's still these sick connections between us and other countries. And there's so much imploding news that I don't even know where to begin. One thing is that Trump was supposed to close the border this week, and there was an article on Fox saying he just said, we'll give Mexico a year. And these kind of things, when he keeps saying, I'm going to close the government, and he closes it, and I won't open it until there's a wall, until there's money, and then we listen, we believe, we whatever. And then all of a sudden, okay, he'll open it. And it makes no sense. And the only thing that I can think of is that there's some kind of an undercurrent pressure from, the dirty players in the deep state that make him change his mind. Don't forget, everybody, immigration is a multi-billion-dollar business, from drugs, from trafficking, from bringing things in, from regular trade, from whatever. But they have allotted over 1 million people to get into the United States this year. And so we need to close down the border. And if you watch Sean Hannity tonight, they were showing the people and how they even had people from China trying to come through the Mexican border. So Trump's thing that he'd give him a year does not make any sense at all. The lights just went off and on here. I don't know what that means. But what, okay, that, I don't know if that means he's there, he's not there, if they're warning or whatever. I'm trying to do a video to get everybody current, but also I've been watching everything I could find on this for the past couple of hours, because they're saying they're going to extradite him and bring him here, and it's just criminal. It's so many multiple crimes, it's not even funny. And so why these lights are going on and off, I don't know. I would hope it's Julian sending out a signal to somebody. But anybody who thinks that he's safe, he's protected, this is part of a plan, this is a distraction, they're not awake. And I can't even listen to them. And I've had fights with people on here who try to tell me what the lie is when they don't get to break asylum rules, and they don't get to take somebody who's innocent and call them a criminal. And what they've tried to say is that he violated the embassy rules, and it was something about some paperwork. It's all a crock. It is not true. It's a lie. They want to use whatever they can to take him. And the Ecuador government has sold him out. Who knows how they got to that guy. I've been tweeting to him for over a year. But they're trying to make sure that he gets punished for being a whistleblower, and that he can never reveal the rest of what he knows. So they took away his computer a year ago, March, and they tried to force him out on the street, and he's been living in this little room over here, and he stayed, and they won't leave him alone. They've tried everything. They haven't given him medical care, and what they're going to do is pull more crimes upon him to get him out, to extradite him, to violate the rules of asylum, bring him over here. They won't release Chelsea Manning, who they've relocked back up to try to get her to roll over on WikiLeaks, and she wouldn't. So they're desperate, and they just won't stop. And they're also mad that he ever published things about the pedophile ring. Now, to show you how sick they are, which is, I was heading over to this, please watch British Monarchy Attempts to Overthrow Trump. This is from American intelligence media, and I absolutely love to listen to them whenever I can. This is an hour-long video, or a little over, so it's a big deal. But stay informed, everybody, because so many things are happening. I've been trying all day to find out why Trump said he'll let it go for a year, because that's just the stupidest statement on the planet when there's still a huge crisis. Trump also, I'm going to just quickly get over Trump's wall, because just for what Trump did was he pinned Joe Biden's grabby feely tweet as a pinned tweet on his timeline. And, again, Joe Biden has just been a creep, and there's no way to justify that at any level. And so what he put in here is "Welcome back, Joe," and I'll play this real quick because it's a satire where there's somebody, somebody made this and made fun of him groping the way he gropes somebody else. So for Trump it's already had 175,000 retweets, and again, it's his pinned tweet. But on here, Trump is not talking. He's saying, how does the border have to be before Democrats admit it's emergency? But then the Fox article said he's going to wait a year. So I sit there and I'm like, I've been trying to figure out, what did he say? I looked through all this. It's also saying conservative support for Trump wall soars to 99%. So it's huge. And then they're saying Democrats need to help fix the border crisis or get out of Trump's way. But then if you listen to that other article, it says he won't close the border. And I had expected that today or tomorrow he would have shut it down. And I hate when I try to believe and do the whole story, and then something happens and they change it, and then it doesn't happen. And then Adam Schiff is going crazy after Trump. I mean, this is all just stupid stuff about the Mueller report and whatever. And he's still having to fight, fight, fight. He's been helping with the First Step Act and giving people that really deserve the chance or that made one mistake a chance to start over with their life. So he's doing all these things that dismantle the deep state. And, you know, but there's still something negative that overrides it, that tries to take away his power when he's doing something to save human lives. And the rest of the media is talking about avocados and shutting down business. And they don't, and what they mean is they're avocados, kind of like the new trade word for trafficking and drugs and whatever. And, you know, if you look at my border thing, I keep showing all the people that get caught bringing drugs and whatever in here. So it's crazy. But what's really front and center all night tonight is what in the hell are they doing with Julian Assange? And there's a U.S., it says right here, the U.S. strategy to create a new global legal and something. I don't even want to leave this to go see what this is, but there it says there's a WikiLeaks channel and there's a new thing on there, and that's only an 8-minute video. So people should watch all this stuff. But there's people from the United States planning to go over here to try to see what they're doing and be there when they take him. And the fact that they're announcing it is even scarier, because what they're trying to do, I think, is show people this is what we'll do to you if you do this, to tell the truth about the crimes in the country. And they don't have any legal authority to take him. They cannot arrest him legally. They're breaking asylum rules. I wish he had found a better place to go escape to than here, because the UK is completely bypassing the Constitution and using Sharia law with the people that are in there. If everybody's seen the yellow vest thing and all that, that's all here, because that country is being overtaken by Muslim rule and illegals and a weak leader, and of course the trafficking ring and pedophilia. So when they're talking about the British monarchy over here, they're saying that they intercepted contracts between Trump associates in Russia. And I think what they did is they tried so hard, because Hillary and Obama both made really strange deals with Russia. They tried to set up Trump at least 10 times to get him to collude with Russia so that they could then find a way to impeach him, and he just never took the bait. And if you think these other countries weren't involved in trying to overthrow him, you're wrong, because their benefit to having the White House be dirty and something like the Clinton Foundation be the hidden scapegoat place where they funnel all the money, that is how they've done it for decades. And it financed every dirty, disgusting thing everywhere. And unbeknownst to all of us, we were just being all used and sold out. And we were like if you ever just consider yourself like a workhorse, we were all of these dirty, elite, disgusting people's workhorses, while they misspent our money and then went for anything that we could possibly have to advance ourselves and try to steal that too, because they just got too big and too greedy and were wasting so many millions of dollars. They didn't know where to pull it from. And they had robbed our Social Security, and they robbed the Federal Reserve, and they robbed everything. And once again, they're mad that we found that out because of Julian Assange and what he published. It does not give them any right at all to take him. And they're going to commit crimes by taking him, by breaking asylum rules, by pulling him out of the embassy, by falsely stating that he committed a crime when he didn't. and they're trying to say he published some papers when he didn't do it. And that's when the deep state wants you, they will lie about you and lie about whatever and use the media in order to get it done. And they don't care if they commit crimes because they're protected way deep inside of everything. And I mean, this is absolutely just frightening. And they're supposed to take him somewhere between tonight and tomorrow morning, according to the latest tweets. So I'm going to just flip back on here to WikiLeaks so that we can see if there's anything more current, because I've been staying on this site for a couple of hours, and the other people that are right on top of this, there are other people at the embassy besides that one video, and everybody's tweeting, and people are crazy because they know, not crazy, they're crazy with anger and frustration, because we know this is the thing. So 5 hours ago, they're saying a high-level source has told WikiLeaks that Julian Assange will be expelled hours to days using the INA Papers offshore scandal as a pretext, and that it already has an agreement with the UK for his arrest. So this is dirty, dirty Ecuador with dirty UK with dirty USA DOJ, and they're all in on it together, all of them. And so it says, Ecuador twists embarrassing INA Papers into pretext to oust Assange from the embassy. And it's a lie, of course. And then they're saying Assange expulsion off the back of INA Papers offshore corruption scandal. Ecuador's former counsel to London 2010 to 2018 analysis. In short, the government seeks a false pretext to end the asylum and protection of Julian Assange. So it's all on WikiLeaks if you need it. And again, I've been trying to figure out what they're doing, why, and whatever. And it says WikiLeaks to the Associated Press. If President Moreno wants to illegally terminate a refugee publisher's asylum to cover up an offshore corruption scandal, history will not be kind. And that's true, because there's going to be backlash from their doing this, and they're too stupid to see it. One of the things about Trump supporters and people that have been what they call red pilled is we're so awake we can see consequences. The problem with the people in the deep state is they're so compromised they don't care, and they're so desperate and so hysterical that they don't have any logic or rationale. They just do things, and they don't care if they all commit crimes because they will be protected. And that is just like that Kim Fox at the Jussie Smollett thing. She knows she committed crimes in her job to let Jussie Smollett go, and now they're asking for the money, and they're trying to sue Jussie Smollett for what the investigation cost, and they're trying to fire Kim Fox. But what these people do is they end up thinking the whole deep state will protect them, and it's disgusting. So it says they try to blame Julian for recent political turmoil, and he's been shut off for over a year. So this again is fake news, lying and trying to set him up, and he's innocent. And so it's stupid. And it says the Assange precedent, how the Trump administration is using a case against WikiLeaks as an icebreaker that will crush press freedoms globally. And this is true. And unfortunately, because Trump has not drained the swamp, and people like John Brennan, Mike Pence, all these people are bypassing the Constitution and the rule of law, unfortunately, it falls all the way up to Trump, because ultimately it's his Department of Justice, it's his presidency, and they have never stopped the attack on Assange since the beginning. And they've silenced President Trump and not allowed him to talk about WikiLeaks. And when they used to play the videos on here about him praising WikiLeaks when he was on the campaign, they don't let him even say things like that now. So it's absolutely true that the buck stops here where Trump is, and it does fall on him. I know I saw a video a while ago of somebody saying that if Trump gets into this and takes this on as a fight, they won't let him do the rest of the things that he needs to get done. Because initially, way back, I couldn't understand why President Trump wasn't protecting Julian. And then somebody really intelligent that's done all this research did a video and sent it to me, and I should have saved it, and I didn't. But that person had said they've threatened Trump, basically, that if he ends up not letting the bad actors inside the DOJ and the fake that secret court that they had and whatever go after Julian, that they won't let anything that Trump wants get done in his administration. And so I don't understand these blackmail trades. I don't know if that's true. I'm telling you what somebody sent me and what I watched, and it makes sense, and it makes it understandable what the difference is between what he's dealing with now and what the DOJ, the dirty DOJ that still a lot of Obama overholds are doing. And they will never give him a fair trial. They will never give him protection. They torture and target people. They'll leave him in solitary confinement inside of a prison and try to force him to die. And I said this to Mrs. Assange. I tried to tell her that this would have already happened faster if Hillary had won. It's been our voices and a very sleazy, disgusting, dirty negotiation that has kept it going. But what's happening is that they are so mad that Trump won and they couldn't get him, and they couldn't nail Russian collusion on him. See, they had kind of thought, in my opinion, that if they could find a way to impeach him and get him out, it would be so much easier, because then Mike Pence would have been president. Then they can control Mike Pence and he's deep state, and then they would have given him permission to go do something the other way. Since that didn't happen, and they've got nothing on Trump, and Trump's here to stay and have a second term, they just got freaky and desperate. So I don't know what to tell anybody. I'm out of my head. Everybody good that loves Julian, loves justice, loves law and order is out of our head tonight, because they're committing crimes to try to lie about Julian to justify their guilt. And they don't want him or anything he knows to ever get published. And they also want to end anybody's right to publish anything bad against the government that they're doing, which is dangerous for all of us, because what that means is if they start to do other things, then they're not wanting anybody to tell the truth anymore. And people send us links all the time. But the problem is that if they're not going to let us tell the truth and do news. And so, it's it's devastating to free speech and to the Constitution and to people's First Amendment rights and to journalism. And after we did so many things to take down fake news, the person who's told the most truth in the news, in the world, they're now trying to never let him speak again. And it's very, very scary. So anybody can tune in and watch this and see what's happening. I know there's going to be more people out there, and there'll be more videos, and I'm just going to follow it and see what happens. But everybody, please wake up and understand this isn't a distraction, and this isn't anything more than our deep state still operating 2.5 years under Trump as criminals. And if you think our government is safe and clean and that you're safe, you're wrong, because none of us are safe. The Constitution is barely alive. We're being inundated, and they're allowing illegals and trafficking to happen as this video is being made. And then you have the British government and the UK and the USA and Russia and every other place trying to frame Trump and derail his presidency and still take back the power that they had under Hillary. And the dirty things that are happening in our government are happening every single minute. So it's very, very scary. And the only thing people need to do is continue to fight, continue to speak, continue to be clear and careful and not hateful, and fight for our rights, because this is somebody taking away human rights after they've already taken away human rights for over a year, and they're just going to up it, make it worse, make it harder, and put someone innocent in prison with a rigged trial and without the ability to tell the truth or publish anything anymore, ever. And if you don't think he won't get hurt in jail or die in jail, or they'll do something to him and they'll never tell us, then you don't know anything about what I've been saying since 2016. Pray for Julian, and it doesn't seem there's any way to stop it. This is a done deal, and they want it made public so that people understand that they're breaking the law and committing crimes and trying to frame Julian. And all I can tell everybody is this has been the hardest, saddest thing of an innocent human being. And this is what the deep state will do to anybody. And they've done it to him for over 8 years. My battle's been 7 years, and I'm not done. And Michael Flynn is still fighting for his name, and so on. And when they've got your number, and when you try to be a good person, they absolutely are threatened by that, and they hate that they can't break you and buy you into the deep state, because that's the hardest thing they try to do, is break you and buy you. And they didn't break Chelsea, they didn't break Julian, they didn't break Michael Flynn, they didn't break me, but they tried, and it wasn't for their lack of trying, it was for all of us standing with integrity and saying, you can do anything you want to me, to us, but I'm not crossing over. And this is the price for not crossing over, is they will end up falsely charging Julian, locking him up, and never letting him see the light of day. And I don't know how to help him anymore. Nobody does. And it's mayhem and hysteria with all of us, because this is the deep state operating, and we're watching them about to commit crimes against someone who has never committed a crime. Thank you.